What's up, guys? Jesse here at Jeweler's Advantage, here with a free gift today and something really interesting based on our AI research that we've been doing at Jeweler's Advantage. So, of course, if you've been following the news, you've probably seen that there's a lot going on in the global supply chain with all of these tariffs. There was a viral story about Chinese manufacturers exposing luxury brands as made in China. And I wanted to get to the bottom of this. I was curious about what this was. And I also wanted to know what suppliers they're talking about, because in our world, we make products and we create brands, especially here at Jeweler's Advantage. And if there's something going on that is a disruption, even beyond what AI could provide, I want to know about it, and we want you to know about it, and we want you to get an opportunity out of it. So, of course, this is the viral story. You could just search up Chinese government, even with the typo or not, releases manufacturers from NDAs in global luxury. That was the basic story. I wanted to see who these brands might be and figure out how to actually work with them. So I used this as an opportunity to test the new genius level intelligence coming out of OpenAI. That would be their O3 model. Apparently, this is a model that has tested as having a genius IQ equivalent for AI. So I wanted to just ask it what this bot could do. This is an AI that can search the internet and perform deep research, and then as a logic model is extremely high octane. So I was just kind of getting to know it, and I put in a prompt here that if you're in AI for Jewelers, I'll include the full thread so you can just see what I was asking. I wanted to just know more about this story because it's difficult with the media these days to know what's real and what's not real. So I didn't know exactly what was going on. I had heard that some major brands out of Europe were getting kind of exposed, and the US, based on what I saw in the web searches. So I wanted to figure out which of these manufacturers may be working with China, or one of these brands, manufacturers, and so on. So here was the initial try. So here was the initial attempt that you'll see. And essentially what I discovered was that there wasn't really conclusive evidence that China had disclosed these manufacturers. I guess they may have given clearance to the manufacturers, and then the manufacturers that were releasing products started saying that they work with a particular brand. Now, where that gets tricky is there's a lot of counterfeit product made in China as well. So maybe this was just kind of like a PR thing or some type of altering the perception of the public on social media as part of a trade war, maybe some sophisticated stuff. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. I just wanted to figure out who these manufacturers are. So what I determined was this wasn't super conclusive. That's interesting in the age of AI because we get fed certain information from the media and we're supposed to regard that as truth. And to me, after researching this, it wasn't super clear that you could find the exact manufacturer for a major brand still, even using a really advanced model. So what I decided to do was guide the AI to start using its own reasoning to run deep searches on the internet and determine if there were other ways that it could determine if there was a link between a manufacturer and a given brand. For example, if there was a major campaign from a brand that you've heard of coinciding with some other growth phase of a manufacturer in another country, whether it be in China or Thailand or India or Dubai or Italy, Turkey, or Switzerland, if there was some type of growth link between the brand and the manufacturer, then that would be a way that we could deduce that, hey, perhaps there was business done between these two entities that is just too close to be a coincidence. So that is what AI went on to do. So we improved the process here to really get down to the bottom of things and determine, could we find a link between a brand and a given manufacturer on a model that, again, has been measured as having genius level intelligence, an extremely low rate of hallucination, and more or less like a 98% efficacy across various domains. Those are just kind of broad figures, but if you look up O3, it's kind of a miracle of science and just a testament to how far AI is advancing. So again, these would have to be verified, and this is not confirmed truth, but it's essentially detective work, and it's a great starting place for the research that you could conduct. Especially if you're looking for a manufacturer, you could always look up these given manufacturers and determine, hey, is this kind of what I would need for my business? Now, this is going to be important for the jewelry industry because as gold price is so expensive, it's possible that in the future, all of luxury brands could kind of meld into one industry, that is. So don't be surprised if you start seeing more brands that carry jewelry also carry things like leather goods or fashion apparel or fragrances. So what we did was we went down following that logic and thinking into the future of what is the real opportunity and what is going to give somebody the most agility in the market. What would they need to know? What we did was we did the deep research following the previous logic of linking manufacturers to major brands to compile a list of what is likely the greatest manufacturers in the world across fashion, leather, fragrances, and then various aspects of watch manufacturing. So if you wanted to get really ambitious and use AI to design your own high-end Swiss watch and manufacture it in other markets that are capable of doing that type of manufacturing, then we've got you covered on even that level of manufacturing. The China rumors from earlier are in this tab of the sheet. So this is just making it more accessible to you and more shareable. But we can get into things like elite fashion, where the manufacturer has been linked to brands such as Chanel or Burberry or Dior. On the leather goods side, what if we could determine the likely manufacturer of a handbag that has worked with everyone from Dior to Louis Vuitton to Gucci and Chanel? That would be pretty incredible. And the AI reasoning backs up that this manufacturer here at number one could be the manufacturer for these brands. So you could do your diligence and see what their quality level is like. Same thing for fragrances. This can get very advanced. If you want to design your own fragrance and have a really, really high profit margin on a product, that would be a great way to add something in for under $500 for a jewelry brand and is relatively easy to produce. On the watch side, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you wanted to get really advanced, even with a manufacturer that can produce unique tourbillons and things like that, that is watch manufacturing, watch components, and then finishing ateliers and everything of that nature. Again, we've already taken everything from this research here that, again, is going to be saved as a PDF in AI for Jewelers that you can review so you can see how I use AI, even if it's not a model from Jewelers Advantage. If I'm just testing the market and seeing something like O3 for myself for the first time, you can see how I do that as a pretty advanced user of this technology. I usually try to break the AIs, by the way. So you could consider me a power user in that regard. That's kind of the definition. If you're trying to push the boundaries of the technology and see what it will allow you to do or not allow you to do, that's what I'm always trying to do. So wait till you see what I've done with influencers on this thing. But for now, we're just on manufacturers. If you want this sheet, it's very easy. You can copy it to your drive here. So here are the directions. Once you get the link for this, you'll just make a copy and then you can save it for yourself. And then you'll have access to all of these suppliers that you can review for yourself. Everything from high fashion, even if it was like haute couture, like high-end runway fashion, you could do that with this sheet. You could do your own handbag, you could do your own fragrance, you could drop a watch, you could see if these are truly the manufacturers of these brands based out of China and see for yourself. But at this point, the value delivered in this sheet is just so much bigger than any type of high school drama unfolding on the world stage. So hope you enjoyed this. This is just one more awesome way that you can use AI for the luxury and jewelry space. My name is Jesse Corby here at Jewelers Advantage. Check out AI for Jewelers in the link below, and we will see you there.